Okay, cool. So let's start then. Hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar on how to align financial and software development planning to rock your 2025. And we're excited to have you all of us today, and hope that by the end of this session you'll gain valuable insights and how to budget smarter to help you grow and scale your business. We, of course, prepared gifts for everyone, so stay with us. And now let me introduce our incredible speakers for today, who will be sharing actionable insights and real-world case studies to help you grow and budget smarter. So with us is Alyona Mysko, CEO and co-founder at Fuelfinance, a visionary in financial planning for startups and scaling businesses. And Ihor Pavlenko, head of engineering at Honeycomb Software, with deep expertise in bridging the gap between tech and business goals. So, hello guys, how's your day? How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm just so excited to be here and I'm just ready to share more and more insights since we are near the end of the year. And I think it's really an important question for everyone, how to boost your business, how to plan in a right way, and what could be excited in a new year. Yes, yeah.
Already excited. Thank you, Ihor.
Hi everyone. I am joking actually last several months that we already we have this time of the year budgeting season, planning season, strategic sessions season. So everyone tries to plan next year and actually all expenses, projects, I don't know, all cool ideas for the next year. So happy to be here and actually talk about the topic, which is like very intense now, I think.
Thank you, Elena. So before we jump in, a quick note for everyone. Feel free to introduce yourself and connect in the chat. And of course, if you have any questions during the presentations, please drop them in the Q&A section and we'll address them after the presentations. And we're kicking things off with Alyona, so stage is yours. Please go ahead.
Sure. I will be short. I have my presentation, but I know all the things about presentations. Usually people don't love all the presentations, so I will try to keep it as practical as possible. So thanks for the introduction, Tatiana, and yeah, definitely mentioned about me. But why I'm talking about finance? So I have more than 10 years experience in finance, helping hundreds, I think, already of companies to manage their finance. And usually what we do at Fuel, we work not with easy cases. So we have scaling companies or we have startups when everything is changing very fast, and we help them to set up finance from scratch. All of them have challenges with financial models, financial planning, how to track my runway, how to stay profitable, how to not lose all the money. So we help with all the things at Fuelfinance, and we work definitely with many customers. We have hundreds of them. We work with Hampton, maybe you heard about Sempar, so he's our customer. We also work with Austin Reeve, who is founder of Morning Brew, and many other customers. And definitely, I usually start with this funny story. I generated like these pictures very fast with AI part, but this is like basic case what we see at Fuelfinance. So with like here's like Kevin and Annie. So they founded their pre-seed B2B SaaS AI startup, and they raised 1 million from angel investors. And Kevin actually is an AI engineer, and Annie has a marketing background. But they burned all money after 12 months and closed their startup. And the key actually mistakes what they did, what you shouldn't repeat. And we see it all the time. I know that we talk about all these mistakes and you hear them from other founders and you still repeat them. But actually the key, I think, idea of this workshop to learn from that and not repeat these mistakes. So what they did not great. So first of all, they hired people very quickly. They burned all the money. During the first 10 months, they didn't sell their product. And we have our own joke in our team. So sell first, then build. And they think that when you start generate revenue as fast as possible, so that's the most important thing. But also they didn't like plan anything. So their expenses, their hires, so what will be with their revenue, what burn rate they will have, what runway they will have. And that's actually what happened. So I actually talk about like poor plan is better than no plan. And it's definitely true, because I think many founders, they just scare like to plan anything. And especially when you talk about finance and you start to ask yourself how I can do my plan about the revenue. I don't know where I will be during the next months, during the next several months. It's so unpredictable. But actually you can plan anything. You can do even very bad assumption where you will be, but setting up like these KPIs for yourself and for your team and be clear where you want to be during the next 2, 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months, it actually works like a very, very good motivation for the whole team to understand where you're going and what resources you need for that. So that's the key goal of the whole planning idea. And actually, when we talk about this planning part, I see that like for many entrepreneurs, it's very hard to understand how all the things connected together. And actually you think like, first of all, about your big mission, your strategy for the next 5, 10 years. After that, you have your tactics like for the 1, 3 years. And after that, you have your victory, like win goals for the next 3, 6, 12 months. You can describe the win goals in different ways. For example, I want to achieve like, I don't know, 1 million in annual revenue. Or for example, you can be like your victory goal, I want to get like, I don't know, 100 users. Or I want to have like 90% retention rate, like with my customers. So you can have different win goals for different periods of times. And after that, you're generating like ideas with your team, how you will come up with these victory goals. And after that, you have your projects. And as we talk here, like about planning and also the part actually how to plan your product expenses, which are like one of the top expenses in your P&L. So you always also think like about all this, like your product roadmap, like different projects, features you want to launch. And after that, you think about resources. So how much money you actually need to do that? How many people you need to hire? If you have enough people now in your current team, if you have enough knowledge. And after that, you finalize everything in your financial plan, which you actually do, you track on a monthly basis, and you do plan actual analysis every month where you are according like your win goals. One very hard point, I think, for all people who start planning, it's like how to do a revenue planning part. And I think that mistake you see on the screen, this growth-based model, red model, it's not correct. It's actually the model where you plan, okay, my revenue will increase by 10% month over month. That's actually not realistic planning. And after that, you think, okay, I will get this and this sales and marketing budget. Actually, you need to have much more drivers to understand how your revenue will grow. And like in different business models, these drivers can be different. So usually we talk about number of leads that you need to get, what will be your conversion rate, what will be number of customers, and what will be the price. And after that, you definitely have revenue. And as you see here, so on your leads, you always have impact from marketing budget, from payroll, and actually what is your cost per lead. And you can't get like 1,000 leads when you have now like 100 leads with the same budget that you have now. So it's not correct planning. So that's the way how you plan things when you think about the revenue. Very briefly about the planning part. So we have the best practice inside our team. We recommend it to do to all of our customers. We have it across our whole system. Usually it's best to make several scenarios in your planning, at least target and baseline. So baseline, it's usually like worst case scenario. So it can be prediction on your last data, can be average number for the last 3 months. And this is like where like in the worst scenario you will be. And target is actually your ambitious plan. And target is always needed to sales, marketing team, baseline, usually used by finance, by founders to understand what will be in different cases. So in that case, you will be prepared for anything. So you just know, okay, if our revenue will not grow in that way, we will afford or not afford new hiring, or for example, I don't know, new marketing expenses. So it's just important to have at least two scenarios. And some things that's important to plan. So we usually talk about planning number of leads, your conversion rates, your pipeline, revenue forecast, how much revenue will generate, your expenses, and after that, definitely your profitability and your cash flow. So burn rate is just the difference between revenue and your expenses. So if your expenses are higher than your revenue, so you definitely burn your money. This is how this plan actual things works across Fuel. So that's the things that we track. It's very important that after planning, there is not the end. So you need to have the system to track all the things. So on daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, and understand where you are. And if you see something which is going wrong, so you can change it like very fast. Some tips about cash flow. So cash flow is just like the most important thing. Because when you run out of money, you can't actually run the business. And I think that the biggest mistake when you're an early stage startup, one of my friends, investor, like who made investments in 500 different startups, he shared with me very great explanation what is cash flow for early stage startup. So on early stage, at pre-seed and seed stage, you definitely need to find your product market fit. And with cash that you have now, you actually buy time for you and for your team to find this product market fit. And when you ask yourself, what is okay for us to burn every month? So first of all, you need to ask yourself how much time you need to find your product market fit, how far you are from finding this product market fit. If, for example, you understand that you need at least 10, 12, maybe 20 months to find that, you need to make your burn lower. And I saw, I think, dozens of different companies who just closed because they didn't have enough time to figure out this product market fit. But the key issue was that they spent a lot of money, but actually they could spend less, and it will be a higher probability that they actually could find this product market fit. And very important part, so not just like, for example, like in your case, when you think about planning, involve all your executive team members. So make them responsible for your numbers. So if you have, I don't know, like head of product or like VP of product, what key metrics like this person is responsible for? Churn rate, retention rate, for example. Another part, like who's responsible for lead generation, who's responsible for sales. When you involve these team members, so they feel this responsibility and they will track that by their own. So this is important system to have. I also will share this report later. So this is the last report about the metrics. I'm not sure if we have here companies who have this type of revenue, but this is the last report, like what key benchmarks you should have when we talk about like key financial results, depending where you are now with your startup. So as you see, like when you have from 1 to 5 million, your annual growth should be at least like 300%. And you also see here like net dollar retention and also churn rates. For example, retention here, like for different companies who have more than 1 million in revenues, they need to have 95, 100% retention. So that's like the best practice. And this is one maybe for your next planning. So when you think about the planning and what percentage like to allocate on what type of expenses. So this is like, for example, if you have less than 2 million in your revenue, so in annual revenue, usual type of expenses, so you spend 200% of your revenue on R&D, 90% on sales and marketing, and 99% of general administrative expenses. And you see that this structure is changing when your company is growing, and like when you're like going further, your expenses in marketing can be even like higher in comparison with R&D expenses. But definitely see that this R&D expenses, actually development of your product, is the highest expense overall in your P&L. So that's why it's important to understand efficiency of everything that you create with your product, what results you get from it, and actually track all the things. So as number one priority, at least as you have like less than 2 million in the revenue. And this is like a little bit like how our product looks like. And I mentioned this planned actual analysis. So here is like an example how it looks like. So you see the months, you see projection, you see actual, and you see deviation from this actual. So you understand where you are, how far you are from your final goal. And this is something that is important to track if you want to achieve your goals, not just plan now, but also achieve them. I think that's all from my side. And at this point about R&D expenses as the biggest category, I actually want to pass microphone to Ihor, who will tell more about how to track actually this all expenses and how to make them efficient.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Alyona, for all the amazing insights. And if anyone has any questions to Alyona, don't hesitate to drop them in the Q&A to us, and we'll answer them later. Yeah, and now we go to Ihor.
Yeah, just a moment. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Is it the right screen? I guess yes. Okay. Yeah, today I will tell you more about like technical side of the planning. But it in a terms of like future investments and how you can plan the budget for the like next year or like next quarter. And here like really important from the engineering part doing the over engineering. I visited with a lot of different startups who was founded by some technical person, seems I'm like in a more technical sphere, and a lot of them making a really great feature, really a lot of any additional like extension to this feature and so on. But you're doing the over engineering, and here I am with you, Alyona. Like first of all, you need to sell this, and just after that to build it. And yeah, a bit about myself. My name is Ihor, and I'm head of engineering in Honeycomb Software. I have more than 10 years of experience. We are working with different size of the companies, also with the startups, and we help them to boost this first and second year of their life and to achieve their goals. And yeah, today I will tell you about the scope and budget saving strategy, also how to eliminating unnecessary expense, and also some case study how you should do and how you shouldn't. Okay, and let's start from the first part, and I will tell you about the key areas of engineering budgeting, about some strategies, and also some planning methods in engineering. First of all, I would like to start with some small story example. When you like, Alyona has one screen that show like how much you should put on your R&D. And I will tell you more about these numbers that you should not just um, have these numbers like about 20, 30, or 35% uh, from your million, from your angel investors or your first investor seed round. It's better to organize. You can invest less, but you can get a more value. And that's why you need to use your budgeting strategy during the development. First of all, you need to understand your idea. You need to understand what problem are you trying to solve, or what value you will give to your potential users. And based on this, you need to create the architecture and system design, like in general, how it will looks like, what's the part of the system will be included to your solution. You need to understand the core infrastructure and technology stack. You need to understand the market. That kind of specialist will be more suitable for your case, and also what kind of specialists you can hire really quick. Yeah, really important part. It's user experience and interface design that you need to follow, because I think everyone had at least one in your life when you are trying to find some information, or you're just trying to book some tickets and raise this button. it's so hard to find it on some user's interface. Data management and storage, it's more related to the regulation because in a different like European APGC, United States, then you have a different regulation about the storing this data, and you should keep in mind that you need to understand it and manage all of this. Testing and quality assurance, it's a must-have that you need to test all of your features, all of your development, and the quality is at your face that you showing to the end customer. And also maintenance and documentation, since you think about the growth, about the scaling, and all of this part should be on the same base. Okay, let's move on to the next one, and a few interesting budget saving strategy. First of all, what on my like consulting session with a lot of different startups, I'm starting like, what is like your main business goal? Just first of all, define your business goals. What will give you the profit? What you think will give you some cash flow? What will create this cash flow? And you need to define this business goal. Based on this business goal, you can create features. Like, for example, I need some more products. Okay, you will need to create some um, internet store to sell your products. You can boost it by some feature where you can click, where you can buy in one click. Oh, this is great! Like one click, and yeah, I got it. Uh, Okay, will be like a killer feature. Okay, you need to think about the Black Friday, how you will maintain all of this. What will be the load of your solution? And here, like you have business goals to grab more orders on the Black Friday, and you need to match the feature, which feature will give you the ability to grab more leads or like sell more products and so on. And based on this, you need to understand which kind of efforts do you need to implement it, like front end, back end, database, etc. Or for example, here we have AI. You see, okay, I have like a really low rate of customer satisfaction, or like the really high time to respond. Like I need to support in this area. Okay, you can implement or add like intercom or some other widgets to your website. You just can implement it by yourself and have a quick response with a generative AI that will answer to your potential leads, and you can grab more on your table. And based on these business requirements, you can define the feature, and based on the feature, you can define technology. Which kind of technology would you like to have on your project? The next one I will tell you just maybe some essential stuff. It's methods in the engineering that you need setting clear project objectives. The next one is really important. It's to have work breakdown structure. What does it mean? That you need to understand how you can achieve the goal. For example, as from my previous, we talked about Black Friday, and you need some kind of functionality for the Black Friday. You need to understand that it is part of the scaling that you need to have a high loaded performant feature. It means you need to use the AWS, that you need some kind of DevOps engineer here. Also, you need a backend engineer, and probably add some additional fancy screens on the front end, and you need a front end engineer. Okay, you see like three part of work, like working with the infrastructure, work with the back end and front end stuff. Okay, probably maybe too technical, but I'm trying to write it down for like a smaller part, and you understand, okay, for this part, I need, for example, backend development for like at least 2 weeks. Here, I need For example, infrastructure, 3 weeks of DevOps, and also I need to pay to like GPC, AWS, Heroku, etc. And you can calculate what will be is more suitable for your business. Yeah, and you need to use a different scheduling technique. You need to understand the sprints or like your goals based on the sprints, like how much weeks will include the sprints. You need to have a clear documentation and communication inside the team, but I think it's obvious. And also use management tools. You need to track your progress. That's what I'm doing with my teams. I know the velocity capacity of each member in my team. That's why I can apply any feature. Like I know how many efforts I have in my pocket and how much I can cover with that team. If I see that I can do that, I need to extend my team. If I see I have too much people in my team, I need to cut off, since I would like to deliver with the most suitable budget to our client. And yeah, this is like smoothly move to the how we can eliminate unnecessary expense. First of all, yeah, that's what I mentioned, like optimize resource and team efficiency. When you have a work breakdown structure, you have your understanding how achieve your goal, you can eliminate what kind of team do you need. For example, I don't need, for example, the UI UX designer for 12 months. I just need for 1 month to create the interface, to create the vision and create the mockups. Why I need to hold this person for whole this period. Uh, Another, like if you're talking about the infrastructure, do you need DevOps effort for 12 months, or you can just use for like 3 or 2 weeks? And in this case, it's probably better to outsource this or find someone who will be dedicated to your team. I'm not talking about like to outsourcing everything, since you need to have a core team inside your house. This is really important because this is your business and you should have this core inside. And if it's more like a time, it's for like 2, 3 weeks or probably 1, 2, 3 months involvement is better to outsource it. Yeah, here we have optimized resource and team efficiency, regular budgeting, cost mentoring. That's what I say. That when you see it's not a profitable feature and you understand based on your team that you will invest about like 10% of your budget to this one feature and you don't see like the much value, okay, you don't need to do that. You need also be conceiving thoughts like reusable and modularity for all your type of work. And when you are creating something, it's better to proceed with some kind of microservice, which will be is better to scale in the future. And if we are talking about some models, they should follow the same pattern, and you can just replicate it and reuse some of the existing functionality or code or structure. It doesn't matter. It works in like all world if you are talking about the development, if you're talking about the infrastructure, about the AI models, when we're talking about the design, front end, etc. Like when you have the reusable models, you can build much faster. And yeah, like strategy to stay in scope and preventing overruns. Yeah, that's also related to some of the first thing what I mentioned, that you need to understand what exactly you would like to build and don't do that scope creep. You don't need this scope creeping because it's additional budget and you can just run out of your budget and don't deliver. And that's it. Uh, Okay, and last but not least, I would like to talk about the real cases. Budget estimation. First of all, you need to plan your approach. like you need to estimate your budget, not just take about, okay, I have 1 million and I can spend about like 30K or like 100K or 300K. Okay, it is okay, like based on some resources, R&Ds, and yeah, this is like fixed budget and I can spend it. You need to understand the cost of each feature on your pocket. Like you have a value that you should deliver to your user. Please pick up the each feature and estimate it. Understand which kind of specialist do you need for it, and put it to your pocket. For example, I need like two front-end developers and like two back-end developers and one AI specialist. Okay, it could take about 3 months. Just calculate and understand how much it could cost for you and how much money you will get for that involvement. It's like it's investing. You investing in your business. You have some raised money, but you don't need to burn it right away. Yeah, when you just get this investment like 1, 2, 3 millions, you see, oh, great, I have enough money. I can build everything. But without these plannings, it will be really hard, and you will just burn, as Alyona showed on the like first storytelling. You can just, oh, where's my money? I'm just lost everything and didn't get to my God, to my goal. Okay, let's proceed. And the next, when you have like a planned approach, you hire a mixed team that is flexible. You can have someone in-house, someone on outsource, someone on outstaff. You can have like some marketing agency for boost your marketing at the first time because this is a professional. Yeah, definitely, you can grow your own expertise inside a house, but just compare how much it will cost for you. And that's why I'm talking like about the first stage is better to have flexible team instead of have in-house team. Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally agree. When you are like a stable company with revenue, you can grow on your own earth. But when you are doing the first steps, the flexibility is much more important than to be all in-house. Uh, the next one, what I mentioned a few times, and you need to understand like your roadmap. What will be after 3 months, what you can deliver after 6 months, after 9 months, after a year. This commitment also really important to your investors to show what exactly they will see and what revenue it could give to your business. And also you can do adjustments. You can adjust the MVP scope during this planning. Okay, I see that the market changed during the development, and I see like what I planned to my like Q4 currently is not what really need to deliver to the market. And you can just adjust and change it because you have a detailed roadmap with each feature and each delivers. And you can just, okay, I will do the replan of the Q4 and change my focus. And I will make something greater than I seen before. And yeah, as a result, you will release successfully the MVP version. You don't burn every uh, penny in your pocket, and you will achieve your goals with high quality results. Yeah, you being cover every feature that in your mind, but the main goal is deliver feature that will be helpful and that will give value to your end user. And yeah, just just try to solve them. After MVP, you need to solve everything, and after that, think about the next steps. Don't start a new development without owning and without new investments. Yeah, after the MVP, it's better to uh, make a focus to some marketing stuff, lead generation, sales, and what Alyona mentioned during her presentation. Basically, that's it from my side. I hope it has like some sense to you and give you some insights. Maybe it was maybe so too on a high level, but if you have any additional questions, thoughts, and maybe some topics for us to discuss, I'm open. Please ask. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ihor, for great insights and step-by-step approach how to move forward. And now I guess that we can move on to the questions. One of them was actually asked before the session as we gave this opportunity, and it's a worthy to answer, I guess. So it sounds like, what constraints do you usually see occur during fast-paced growth journeys in seed stage and Series A stage?
We'll start. Okay, I will start, I think. Okay, what constraints? I think that like all the time, I think the biggest, so okay, like let's be honest, we are also late seed stage startup, so pre-Series A. So I think that the biggest constraint from my side, from founder side, is definitely how fast you iterate everything, and you're very limited with all your budgets to find like the best decisions. So I think that the biggest constraint, like time, and that you have limited periods of time. So if you raise like your pre-seed, so you definitely during like the next year, next 6 months, in the best case, you need to raise your seed. And when you raise your seed round, so definitely during the most period, like 2 years, you need to start to raise your Series A. So, and you have limited periods of time to understand what will be your ideal customer, what they want from your product, how to build a product that actually these customers will love, and you will have high retention rate. And like actually also figuring out like what sales and marketing channels works for you, so to understand what you will scale to get more customers. So I think like period of time, but on the other side, budgets that you have for it, so it's very limited from both sides.
Yeah. From my point of view, like the main constraints could be like the scaling. Since after the MVP, you need to scale your team. You need uh, add to your team more efficiency players, and the scaling. And as I said, like a small team, like it's hard to do. Also, you need to balancing with iteration, because you need to understand and get the user feedbacks, like what is going on, I'm doing right, I know. And after that, you should just quickly make a killer feature based on this feedback. And yeah, it's also based on time, but you need to react on that feedback and make as much as possible iteration and focusing on the development what is really needed for the user, because previously your product was just your vision, and now it's vision of your end user. And also one more constraints, I think it's burning rate. Like, you need to control your burning rate. Maybe you don't need to spend some money to additional marketing if you already have enough user to test your idea. Maybe spend to enhance it to maybe some biz dev team, and or in another way just refocus and do more marketing and less development, since you know like okay, I have a great features, but I need to find my target audience. And yeah, like let's summarize the main constraints. I think it's scaling, it's iteration during the feature implementation, it's it's a refocus and burning rate. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. We have actually a bit similar question in the chat, so probably it's worth like to add up something here now. And it sounds like, what are the key differences in planning approaches between seed and Series A startups? Alyona is muted.
Yes,
Sure.
sorry. I said that I even found the cheat sheet to answer this question. So I think we have content for all questions already at Fuel. So here is like different stages. So I mean, like mostly this is a focus on the revenue. So like seed from up to 2 million, Series A from 2 to 20, and actually in planning. So what you need to track. So on seed stage, you're doing like very high level planning. So for Series A, it's very serious. So you track much more metrics, but definitely you track marketing and sales drivers in seed. You track revenue, retention, churn, hiring, payroll, cash flow planning. But for example, when we talk about unit economics, so I mean like LTV or different cohorts or LTV to CAC ratio. So you start to track them on very late seed or even Series A, because just it's like no sense. You don't have like enough customers to understand what different types of customers you have. Or for example, when we talk about like budgeting, very detailed budgeting, I mean, even like on a weekly basis or some specific cash budgets for each category, for each type of expense. You also do that already on Series A stage. On seed, you have like on a very high level, like how much money you will spend. And also, like, I think on Series A, you already track much more metrics like efficiency, return on investment for each marketing sales channel. You track like different projects. I mean, like when you run all the projects through all types, like in product and sales and marketing, you track all the efficiency of this project. So what was the input, what was the output? And like just visually, I think that planning for seed, it's like 10 times less metrics than you track on seed stage in comparison like what you have for Series A. For Series A, you already have some serious support of CFO or financial person, because you can't like make this like financial model for raising Series A by yourself.
Okay, thanks. Cool. But to all the attendees, follow your emails after the session, so you'll get some cheat sheets and resources from both teams. Don't forget to check your email after that. Another question, we talked a bit about what's next after the MVP. Like you both mentioned like few things, but probably could you like specify more both on financial and technical part as well, like probably like step by step.
I think you need to concentrate on the iteration of the user feedback, get as much as possible, and based on the user feedback, like just follow the plan, what I've shared with you, like based on the user feedback, you need to identify the killer feature. This idea will bring you to the like next stage of your startup. And also it will be interesting for your potential new customers, like user feedback and work with your target audience.
Alyona, do you have anything to add?
I think that's like what actually was mentioned. It's really correct. I think everything like about iterations and how fast you do it. I'd think like from both sides, from product side. So like but first of all, I think you iterate with sales and marketing. So I think that we run at least like 100 different experiments, like in marketing and sales for 1 year to understand what works for us. And only when we did that and we got right customers who were like our ICPs, so we understood what we need to build for them on the product side. Because like I think you can think about different things, what you want to build, but on the final end, I think you will be always surprised that like customers actually can desire completely another things that you think they need.
And we have another question in the chat. So it's a bit long, but let's try our best. Boris mentions that he had a financial model already in place, but it's not very advanced, but with a lot of different tables. And he wanted to start to use your product, I guess like Fuelfinance for pre-seed startups, but he was a bit lost how to bridge the gap between data and the cool dashboards. So what's like your recommendations on how to do this?
I think I will just answer that, Boris. You can write me on my LinkedIn and I will share my Calendly and I will jump on a call with you and I will explain you how to use this Bootstrap product that we have.
That's a great strategy. Okay, and another one is also that guess you bit mentioned, but we have some additionals to that. So what are the key considerations when allocating resources between R&D, operational needs, and like scaling efforts? Probably that's like
We'll start. Okay,
yeah, like on how to define what professionals have to be in-house or outsourced. What's the strategy here?
Yeah. In this case, I can help you. It just depends on your scope. Like you see how many efforts of one specialist do you need. For example, okay, let's imagine that you are building some kind of IoT devices, like the hardware device, and also you need the application for it, and you need some AI stuff and so on. But it's main, it's like your hardware, and this hardware should be developed in-house because this is your main idea. Uh, for example, you are developing a camera that will detect leaks, something like that. But to manage this camera, you need application, you need also the website to promote it and so on. All of this stuff you can outsource at the beginning, but the main product you should develop by yourself. Or for example, you do some data analytic and you have like a really great ML model. You should proceed with the education of this model and also doing some backend stuff on your side. But if you are talking about some interaction with third-party APIs, if you are talking about some integration, front-end work, also with some kind of I know design system and so on that you can outsource. If you are talking about the marketing and also the financial stuff, yeah, okay, you can do that by the staffing model at the really early stages because you need to understand the value of it and that you can invest about not the whole team member. You just need to calculate like here's my whole team that I should invest this part of money. And if I'm outsourcing, I don't need like invest 12 months. I can just invest 1 month and that's it. But if you understand that person is a core team, and it's okay, yeah, you should understand it will be your it will be like addition to your burning rate.
That's a good example you mentioned about hardware. We actually have a question regarding that as well. If you have any advice on budget planning for hardware startups, because product iterations are usually much longer than pure software products, so you must be more careful and you have manufacturing to think about. Do you have something to add about that?
Regarding this, it's really interesting question because if you're talking about the hardware, first of all, you need to create the one MVP and to understand the cost. It will interesting or no for the market to understand the cost of one entity that you created, and based on this, you can start building your plan of manufacturing and so on. You will find like the best place where you can do some microservices work, where you can work with some hardware stuff and so on. But first of all, you're creating like MVP, you're calculating the cost of this MVP. Also, you need to add the overheads, some stuff related to like transferring all of this, and you will have like a final price. And try just to compare with the market. Are you good in it or no? If no, you need to change something. You need to improve it and also make your costs less. Yeah, that's why I like create the MVP, calculate, add the overhead, add all the additional costs to it, and try to compare with the market. But first of all, when you have an idea of creating this MVP, you need to validate it and don't invest money to just create, because hardware is more serious and need more money to invest in it. Yeah, then maybe you would like to add something.
I just like can add about like hardware, maybe budgeting, planning. So but it's most already when your product is done and when you plan like your sale, I think that this budgeting is the hardest one. So actually I am personally think that this is the hardest business model because you have working capital. So working capital means that you need to invest in your product earlier before you get revenue from it. And it will be like all the time. So it will be not just the case when you develop like your MVP of your product. So all the time you need to understand like and to do very precise planning. So how many units you will sell, how many units you need to produce, how much time you need to deliver this unit. So what is your operational cycle in number of days from the start, like when you understand that you need already like this units for some period of time till the period that it will be done. Because I think what I saw, the biggest problem is just like difference between demand and supply in hardware like models, because you always have the case or demand very high or like and you don't have enough like these devices that you produce, for example, or another case when you have many devices but you can't sell them. And in both cases you lose. In the first case you lose revenue, in the second case you lose cash. So just like in the frozen devices that you can't sell. And I think like in the hardware, so this is very important to have very precise planning when you understand like and have very low deviation between plan and actual what you have, and understand all the time that you will invest in your working capital all the time. So how much money you need to invest to produce 100 units, 200 units, and all the time your growth will be together with additional investments. So you can't produce like bigger number of devices without investments in that before, and it depends what is your operational cycle, because in some companies it can be 6 months or 1 year. So like to actually make 2-4 times growth, you need to invest now this money in this like production, and it can take time. So I think in hardware it's like the most important part to plan anything, to be honest.
That's why it's called hardware. Hardware is hard.
Hardware because it's hard.
Okay. So I guess we have a few minutes for one more question. Let's go with how do you approach budgeting for unpredictable scenarios like market change or unexpected technical issues?
Here
I
you will
guess
start.
that's more, yeah.
Yeah, unpredictable is not what we are expecting, yeah, and every time it could happen. And in this case, you need to be flexible, as I said. You need to define and to have like this work breakdown structure what you will do. And in my example, as I said, you can just cross it out your Q4 and proceed with like another vision, because currently in our world and mostly in the technical stuff, it's growing really fast. And you should adapt to all of this. You should predict the future. But yeah, it's hard to do. For example, who knows about like AI and ChatGPT about 3 years ago? Nobody cares about it. But now it's a really important part of your business and of like potential future of the humanity as well. And yeah, that's happened, but you should adapt to such kind of things and have a small work breakdown. Like, okay, 3 months is 3 months is 3 months. Probably you could detailize it for like just 1 month, all of these quarters. You should be ready.
And I can add to that about unpredictability. So I mentioned about scenarios. So this is the best way to be prepared. So just like try to run several scenarios. So this is like the best way actually to work with anxiety. So just understand what can happen and decide like what you will do in these different scenarios. So when you have many of them and you think before it happens, so you're already prepared. So that's the best way. Like, I don't know, revenue drop down 2 times. I don't know, your expenses will grow significantly, or I don't know, like your core partner, like, I don't know, will become not your partner. Or for example, in our case, we're even saying, for example, like we have financial products, so we have integration with QuickBooks. So we even think like about the risks. So what will be if like QuickBooks in some day will decide to cancel all integrations with all partners? So I think that's also important to understand what will be your plan B. So just in case.
Okay, great. So I think that will finish for today. So thanks everyone for joining us and for all your questions and activity. If you have any additional questions or anything to discuss, feel free to connect to all of us on LinkedIn, or just chat and find us somewhere else. Don't forget that the special gifts for attendees will be arriving in your inbox, and the recording will be available. So if you missed something at the beginning or want to share with something, just feel free to use it. We'll also share the presentations from the speakers in the email. So stay with us, and we're looking forward to another meeting with all of us, and keep chatting as well. Alyona, Ihor, thank you so much for valuable insights, information, case studies, all the answers, and thank you for being with us today. I think that everyone just gained a bit more information, and everyone will grow the company even more and budget smarter. So thanks everyone. If you have something to add or ask, just let us know.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
thank you.
Bye bye.